We are about to start. This is Robot Nuke. Now let's hear it for the man, the myth and the legend in his own head, Eric Nuke Hudson.
Wow, I can't believe I actually made it back in time. I was like, I have 3 minutes, so let me go run and do some things. I just sat down. So anyway, don't want to be too remiss. Want to get into the stuff. It's an interesting market. Sitting here saying anything else would be a lie. Hope the rest of you are having a good week. Ain't gonna lie, got a lot of bad stuff, all the way down to the Pope. That really affected me. I'm not Catholic, but I really did respect the Pope, Pope Francis. But let's get in here. Let's just start seeing what's going on in the world. So, I wanted to start with this one. The expireds. So everybody's been talking. If you're in the real estate game, they're going like, hey, you got to get ready for the expireds that are coming up because, you know, this is like one of the biggest days of the year, all these expireds. And I looked, it's like only 176 came up today. Even if we go over the last 3 days, it's only 205. So it's not huge. Maybe next month it'll be huge. But when I looked over the last 24 hours, it's kind of standard. If you look, majority of them have been stuff like this. They're expireds that were actually withdrawn from the market going to expireds. We don't really see that many expireds. Most are people who are just kind of quit and now they're expiring. So the WC means the agent just kind of like it was still under contract but withdrawn from the market. This was really interesting here because if you go and look at the history, it's actually been kind of listed since 2000. I don't know what's going on there. I feel it's kind of like somebody told me one time they listed this old lady's house and they were afraid of other agents like messing with the lady. And they just would list it, take it off the market and kind of do a WC like this just so they wouldn't be messed with. Because if you look, this thing went WC back in 2021. And look, it went active and then immediately WC. So I think that's to keep agents from messing with them because these agents around here, and I mean the country, will mess with these folks. Yeah, so you don't want to ever get expired. Let's just see. Last 7 days. Look at this. 1,240 new homes hit the market. I haven't seen this many new homes hit the market in a very long time. Back on the market, 191. Price decreases. 1,182. Yeah, 113 price increases. Rarely understand that. Under contract, look at that. That is about 900. So it is not keeping up with the houses that are coming on the market. The solds are not keeping up. So we're going to see growing houses that are coming up there. So the market is actually expanding with the number of houses right now. So more people are starting to put their houses on the market right now. More people are starting to withdraw their houses because they're probably not getting the prices they had hoped for. Still got, look at this, a lot of coming soons. Even in the high to last market, we can have this many coming soons. Now, I am going to say this much. What I've been seeing lately and just talking to folks, about half the sellers have been willing now to pay closing costs. You know how, if you've been following me, I'm like really big on recently on new home sales, and that's because they pay the closing costs, they pay down the interest rate. Well, a lot of people need closing costs. Interest rates are great too, but I'm starting to realize that a lot of sellers now will cover that closing cost. And like I say, if you find a seller who's unwilling to pay the closing cost, go to the next seller. As you can see, we got a lot of new houses coming on the market and a lot of sellers who are playing the let's check it out game. I'll tell you this much. I just recently went in a contract with someone, and I did a video about it yesterday. As a matter of fact, at another memorial service, there's been a lot of those lately. And the house has been on the market for a very long time, like 4 months. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but this has happened twice in the last few months where I'm going to make the number up. Let's say the house was $500,000 and the buyer goes, "You think they'll take $480 for it?" And I go, based on the current market, where it is, part of town, because different parts of town sell at different rates. Based on the part of town, based on the amount of time it's been on the market, which is 4 months, let's try for 450. Let's just say we got it, making numbers up here, 465. So we got it at a bargain. And that's all because in reality, the house started at 525, making numbers up, because we're making numbers up. This is another reason why you need the sellers, I'm doing it on both hands here. Sellers, when you overprice your homes for the market, this is what happens to you. Almost 120 days on market, 4 months, selling it at a bargain. These are tried and true numbers. Buyers, go in there smart, get yourself a bargain on a home. It always works that way. Okay, now let's go and start looking at what the market has actually done. So let's go ahead and search, and we're going to compare it a little bit to last month because we don't have the new numbers. So we're about the 99 percentile here. We still got, even though it's the first, realtors have 3 days to get these in. So by Saturday, we will have really, really, really good numbers. But right now, we're about 99%. So 485, that's the number we're looking for single family homes. Let's go on in here. We're going to, first, let's just look to see how many houses we have on the market. We're going to take this down to single family, and we're still over 5,000. Just look at the results. Got to look at the stats, tabular like, and we have 6,496. Compare that to, compare that to 4,516. Mickey's big hand tells me that's a lot more by over, what's that? 1,000. We got about, math in public, 18% more houses on the market than a month ago. Now, let's go and see if we would have done that. By the way, anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask them. I'll answer them. We actually got a nice little crowd here tonight. I haven't had a crowd like this in a while. Let's go and look through the month so far. By month, I mean April. So look through April. Let's look at this 99%. 2,162 homes sold compared to, only 20 more houses sold. And a few more are going to drop into the market. So we actually had an increase in sales, which is amazing. Okay. Oh, wait. Yep. Single family. Make sure I'm not making any mistakes here. Let's go into my stats, tabs. Ooh. Ew. Unless something changes in the next couple of days when people start entering their houses and that they haven't entered, that closed yesterday, looks like we had a $5,000 drop. So the official numbers are going to be released on the 6th, which is going to be Tuesday. Let me look at my calendar here. Tuesday, which means the news on either Tuesday or Wednesday, you're going to see Las Vegas housing market dropped by $5,000. That's what you're going to probably see on Tuesday. Okay, let's get in here. They're going to show sales are up, but prices dropped. Unless something changes, because like I said, realtors got a couple of more days to put their stuff in. And let's go to condos and townhouses. For some odd reason, they combine these two. 539 have sold so far, 99 percentile. Compare it to 570, so sales are actually down. And let's see what that price is. Drum roll. $302 compared to $306. They're going to show that is down also. And let us see what the numbers tell us. 2,474 are on the market compared to 2,204. Ouch. Almost 270 more condos are on the market right now. So here's my prediction. Oh, hold on one second. Let me silence this. I hate I did that. Let me tell her that. Hold on. Tell her I'm live streaming right now. I don't expect to call this late at night from a builder. Oh, there you go. Okay, so my prediction is on Tuesday or Wednesday. The Las Vegas Review Journal is going to have either in the business section, maybe the headlines, prices have dropped, number of homes on the market has drastically increased, and it will say maybe that the sales are, I don't know if it'll say the sales are up because they're down for the condos and townhouses, but up for single family slightly. So that is what my prediction for Tuesday or Wednesday for either the headlines on the front page or the business section. And housing is such a big thing. I think it's going to be on the front page. The last few times I've done this, my prediction has been correct. So it kind of tells itself. Numbers are numbers. So let's get on in here and let's do that dance for, get rid of this, come back to, good, it left me here. So let's do the dance and break this down single family for the different cities. So let's look at Las Vegas first. 1,371 have sold. And we're just, I'm not going to keep saying the 99 percentile anymore. 1,371 Las Vegas sold. stat wise, median close price was 490,000. So that is actually higher than the overall median price. And oops, let me go back. Let's go back to search. I'm sorry. There you go. Here, criteria. And I'm going to get rid of this. Let's go to North Las Vegas. Do the same thing. 279 sold in North Las Vegas. So maybe I might like slurring. I'm like got my S's going there. 425 for single family. Now the big dog, Henderson, they're usually more expensive. I may add one this week. 432. And when we look at the stats, Achi Mama 535. And when we get on over to this week, I'm going to add Rump. Just trying to show you something. And that's supposed to be an H. 42, not as many sold, but I've been telling folks like, hey, you know, it's cheaper around that hump. Let's see how cheap. Single families, $385,000. So you are saving a good bit of money. I'm going to show you a little something here. And I think you're going to find this one hopefully a little interesting. I'm going to take out this. I'm actually going into some zip codes and show you. Let me go back in here. So go back and look just overall. And I should have done this, and I didn't. Now look, the median time to sell is 21 days, which is actually kind of fake. This economist actually showed me this. I may show it to you here in a second. And the average is 39 days. Let me see if I can show you how it's fake. The reason it's fake is what a lot of realtors do is they want to show their stuff showing up into the system. So you ever heard that expression, there are liars, damn liars, and statisticians? So what realtors may do is they may have a house that's pre-sold, kind of like how we were showing the expires there a moment ago. And I showed you how that house has been off the market in reality for like 5 years. Well, some realtors have the house pre-sold, but they want to hit the market because they want it to like show on certain stats, or they want to say, look how fast I can sell a house, but they sold it to another realtor in their office, or they sold it to, you know, a client, or they did it through pre-marketing. And, you know, some of the stuff I showed you earlier where, you know, coming soon kind of stuff. Well, it sold there because it was a really nice house, even though you're not supposed to market ahead. And you saw all that stuff that's going on with Zillow and everything. But it's been sold. But it's like, well, if I just take it off the market, it's not going to, you know, show up in Zillow, and I can't go how great I am. So they put it on the market for enough time to where it'll flow through the system properly. And that's what screws up the market. So let me show you something. So I'm going to come in here, and this is the stuff that sold single family last month, right? We're going to go DOM, days on market. Watch this. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. How is it 0 days on market? 0, 0, 0, 0. That goes into that median and average. You see? You get it? It's fake. They're fake numbers. They're fake numbers. So be very careful when you look at this now. To have good numbers, you got to remove all of these, which when some realtor comes to you and goes, oh, average time on market, what did I show you? That 21 days? No, it's not. It's much higher. And I keep saying I'm going to bring this up. I actually subscribe to this service for you guys. And I wanted to like bring you like where this economist actually removes these numbers, or he's been able to figure out the real numbers and kind of show that to you. But even though not showing the real, I mean, getting that deep into it, because I know some people are like, man, this is just too deep. Let's go into some zip codes. I want to show you like different parts of town. So like if I go over to the east side of town, 891122. So that's the east side, just north of Henderson. So like 44 sold last month. Watch this and how long they're on the market on average. Whoops. Or on median and average. 32 days, 54. See the difference? 21 overall for Southern Nevada. But I go someplace that may be a little more popular, like 131 up in Centennial Hills, 67 sold. What's the median time on market? 20 days. You see those differences? So it's your side of town. It makes a huge difference in how fast these houses move. So keep that in mind, because sometimes the agents aren't explaining this stuff to their folks. So if you're on a side of town where it's taking 40, 50 days on average to sell, these things aren't being explained. And, you know, let's say you're a buyer. People get antsy after a couple of months. That's your chance to, you know what I'm saying? Go in there, it's been a couple of months, 3 months. They didn't lower their price. You know it's overpriced because people want to go, I have to move to Denver and I need this amount. Well, they start with the amount they need. And agents gas them up by saying, oh, I can get this for you. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. It works on pure math and numbers. And there's a lot of emotion that's involved, but it's according to what side of the equation you're on. For the seller, a lot of it's emotion. For the buyer, it's a lot of numbers, except for during COVID. There was more emotion than there was numbers. It's, I got to get a house now. Now they're back to Mr. Spock. Okay. So always remember, you're dealing with Mr. Spock when you're dealing with a buyer more than you are somebody who's fallen in love, except for beautiful houses. People love beautiful houses. Let's get back in here. Let's start looking at some other numbers because everybody loves numbers. I love numbers. You may not love numbers. I don't know. We always talk about them pools, and believe it or not, some townhomes actually have pools. I've run across them because that yard is yours, and I've seen people build pools in those little yards. 543 have pools because everybody wants to come to Vegas and get a pool because it's hot. Today was so hot, beaming through the glass. I was trying to record a video while I was driving, and it overheated the camera. Everybody's always asking this when it's like, I want to get a repo because I'm trying to save money. Well, let's see. Repos that sold last month, 14. Let's add in the condos and townhouses, 16 out of all those thousands. Let's even add in the manufactured homes, 18. So out of all those thousands of sales, 18. So very little chance. And one of the things is the savings were there, and that was during the HARP and the HAMP days. The government was giving banks money to get it off their books. That money is gone. Short sales. 7. When I add in townhomes and condominiums, it just jumps to 8. Manufactured homes, 9. So it's not doing that much for you. Also, remember, condos and townhomes, believe it or not, is a state of ownership. So we have plenty of single-story townhomes here in Las Vegas. So like you'll have people who want single stories. Whoops, let's get rid of short sales there. It's back. So single stories, 1,100 were single stories that sold last month. Now watch this. Townhome, single story, 91. So yes, when you go like, oh, I want a single story, I don't want a townhome. Guess what? Plenty of townhomes are single story. Now, most of the single story townhomes are going to be in the 55 plus communities. Let's see if there are any condos. 35 condos are single story. I would love to see the single story condos. Let's see here. And I think somebody didn't know how to enter stuff right. Let's go check another one. Now, I have seen some that are like the condo itself really is on the first floor. See, that's, wow, that's interesting. I don't know if you saw that. These are not single story condos. I have actually seen single story condos. That is a condo on the first floor, not a single story condo. The ones that I've seen that have been single story condos, it's like that unit is single story and the unit next to it is 2-story. They're in older condos when I've seen them. So I'm trying to see if I see one here. Ah, there we go. Single story condos. Finally. So some of these are single story condos. So you just saw it. Single story condos. Bam. In case you didn't know, we do have single story condos. Again, any questions, ask them. Again, condos and townhomes is a state of ownership. And since I'm on it, townhomes are sometimes condos in disguise. I've discussed it before. I'm not going to get as deep into it now, but a townhome, like if you're looking for a VA or FHA loan, be very careful. Your realtor may not realize this. And I've actually, I got a funny one. I sold a, listed a townhouse one time, sold it under FHA, and an agent reached out to me and they were like, hey, I have a townhouse listed in the complex you sold in, and I'm having an issue because it was a townhouse disguised, it was a condo disguised as a townhouse. And I'll go through it and nobody caught it. The bank didn't catch it. The appraiser didn't catch it. I was just lucky. So it's sometimes what they do, what happens is they don't catch it, and your client, you, if you're looking at this and you are a buyer, you may end up in a situation where you don't spend all this money, you got an inspection and everything. If you're ever buying a townhouse and you want to make sure that you're not buying a townhouse that is secretly a condo, reach out and we'll talk about it, because the next part are condos. There is a lot of issues going on with condos now. I'm sure you know what happened in Florida. That is starting to bite because there are issues in Florida, and believe it or not, Texas right now. You almost can't give a condo away. And right now, there are people who are getting, I saw a report the other day. I need to start saving more and more of these, and like especially YouTube news reports and stuff, because I'm going to show you a news report here in a second, where people are like buying trying to sell their condos and they can't because they got like $100,000 assessment, $250,000 assessments. This was one I saw just a couple of days ago. A woman can't get rid of her condo because, you know, it started with like a 20-some thousand assessment, then it became a $50,000 assessment, then it became a $100,000 assessment because of all these things they got to fix in it because of that condo collapse they had a few years ago. So it's making its way here. I got a listing I can't get rid of, and the other I listed the condo, the HOA fees keep going up and up and up. And over the last 6 months, the only thing that's sold in that complex have been to investors. And my seller refused to take any of the offers. We've got plenty of offers. They've all been from investors. The seller has refused all. It's like they want more money. Well, the only thing that's been selling for condos in that condition been sold to flippers. And even the flipped properties haven't been selling because of the high HOA fees. Here's the thing. The sellers have been getting offers that are the same as all the others that have, you know, sold. Well, those have, you know, hit the market. And they can't, like how we're looking at the MLS here. Well, those are now showing. Here's the problem. They're now showing that they've sold at that price. Person who reached out months ago, or investor, they reached out this week. And they're like, has your seller changed their mind? Like, put an offer. There's been plenty of, you know, more people have accepted the offers from the investor. And he contacts me back. It's like, you know what? All of those have hit the market. That's now the new price. I can't offer that price anymore. The price that's offered is significantly less because those have hit the market. Again, you got to see what the market's doing. Everyone's accepting the investor offers. That becomes the new price because everyone accepted it. And everyone's having an issue right now selling condos. If you're out there, you got some cash, and you don't mind that the HOA fees are going up, I would go out and start bargain hunting. I'm just giving my advice to you, the buyer. As a seller, unless you're in, you know, a prime location, one of the people who took the offer, you know, I didn't realize that that person was also the owner. I reached out to the agent who was also the owner, and she, I'll use you know, her gender. It's like I had to take the offer. The HOA keeps going up and up and up, and I'm afraid of an assessment, just one bad assessment, and, you know, just going in between tenants, I could lose everything. And then just kept telling me these bad things that are going on. And it's like, wow. You know, I pass this stuff on, but, you know, people do what they want to do. It's probably going to be one of these expires, and then agents are going to pounce on the person. And it's just going to keep happening because the price has now been set. Anyway, let's get on and see what else is going on here. If there are any kind of numbers you want me to look at or different parts of town, please let me know. So we've talked about pools, single story. And let me make sure I've unselected that or the numbers are going to be bad. Back to single family. As far as like sewer, septic, you can no longer build septic. That is no longer allowed. Fireplaces are no longer pretty much allowed. You can't have lawns anymore. Those of you who are like considering moving to Vegas, you're no longer allowed to have a lawn. You're limited in the size of your pools. Let's see here. Let's just look at sold terms. How many are cash? I'm gonna have to probably do some mathematicians. I'm not gonna do the math today. 458. You know what? I'm just gonna do them all, except for manufactured homes. So 626 were sold with cash. Well, let me unselect cash so you can see where it began. So all the homes, 2,701. And when I select cash, it's 626. I'm gonna do it. Let's do math. 626 divided by 2,701. So 23% are cash. Cash is way down, believe it or not. It used to be like a huge percentage of our market. I'm not going to talk about that. Assumables. I probably should talk about assumables. 4 were assumable. Those are usually VA and FHA. I may start doing a special thing on assumables. Somebody called the other day about assumable loans. I've taken classes. I've done some assumables. That is actually a cool thing because you could actually take over someone's low interest loan. And there are actually plenty of low interest loans out there. So in this day and age of higher interest loans, let's just skip ahead and let's see what the loan rates are. So 6.83% for 30-year fixed conventional on average nationwide, 6.2 on VA. FHA, 6.22 on VA. Can you imagine getting a 2.5% loan? You can do that on an assumable. I'm not even going to try to do the math on that. And I ended up taking another little thing to, so I could talk even more intelligently about them, especially as more and more people learn about it. So conventional, which is normally going to be the most loans or types of closings, 1228 divided by 2701, that's 45%. FHA, which is after cash the most, is going to be 539 divided by 2701. Still no questions. 20%. And my favorite, I wear it on my chest. Mainly wear it on my chest because this is all I own. My wife, after she designed this design, she just went like, hey, this is all I got to buy for birthday, Christmas, Valentine's Day. So I have a closet. That's why I could wear a different shirt every day for an entire month, every single day. That's why you see the same design. 9%. Okay, there we go. We got to see the numbers. Okay. It's still no questions. Okay. Let's go ahead and go through some of the other things I was going to talk about. We've already seen this. Inventory is definitely flooding Las Vegas Valley home market. I wouldn't say no buyers in sight. You just saw that we sold more houses last month than the previous month, just a few less for the condos and townhomes. So I think they wanted a little, little blood on the floor headline here. The difference I think they're probably saying is it went way up, but the buyers are not way up, because I saw another report saying the buyers are out there shopping because of lower interest rates. It's kind of like diet advice. Drink vinegar. Don't drink vinegar. They come up with something new every week. Saying supply of houses have hit a post-pandemic high. Let's look at this. Pending sales drop as buyers grapple with economic uncertainty. I actually believe this one more than anything else. I think some of the houses are hitting the market because people worry we're going to have the kind of issues. Remember when interest rates started going up, sales started going down because of the interest rates, and then everyone went like, oh, we didn't hit peak housing, and they pushed their houses to the market too dang fast. Now we just saw how many houses are on the market right now. Over 6,000. At its peak, when the market did this, it was about 9,000. That's when it got bad. And that, I mean, it was just horrible. But it was 9,000 houses on the market. And then it corrected itself because everyone went, well, I'm not getting what I wanted. You know, my house topped out at it was 482 was the top of the market. And they weren't getting what they wanted. So the houses just came back off. And with the housing market 3 straight months, and we're about to see, I think it's going to say 480, and you're going to see it say that the housing market has peaked, and we're going to see. And I think there's a lot of uncertainty. I partially don't want to say that because you get people on the political spectrum who want to say, "Oh, don't worry, this is going to get solved," and then on the other side, "Oh yeah, it's going to." You know what? I just don't want to deal with it. I just don't. And this next one here, then this one is good. I hope. What happened? Hold on. Must have clicked it too quick. This one is a good one here. You gotta listen. Oh, I wish I could BS like that. They asked him some pointed questions to see how he ducked and weaved. That's how you become a CEO, when you can duck and weave like that. But I don't want to talk too much. I was eating some Vienna sausages. I've been having about some like a survival food in case something happened. And I didn't mention this, but I had a lot of people in my life pass in the last couple of weeks. It started with my best friend's mother passed. Then I had to tell my mother about it because they were college roommates. And then she goes, yeah, in the last week, my two closest friends passed. And then like once she couldn't, she was like, I've been trying to call her. It's like, what in the world? She's not calling me back. Then another friend passed. I was at her memorial yesterday. Then the Pope. Then the following day, because she passed on Easter. And then family passed. Getting ready to get out of here to go to that funeral. So had to get nostalgic. So I went to my emergency supplies of Vienna sausages. Started eating some yesterday and wanted to eat some today. I thought I could finish them by the time Robert there. He's president of Compass, not Compass Bank, but Corporate Compass Real Estate. So they're a large real estate firm. They're really out there, and there's a lot of controversy with them right now because they got they're tussling with Zillow and a major MLS right now because of the stuff he was talking about. And like I said, he was saying a lot of words that pretty mouth of his. But anyway, with that, kind of lost myself there for a second. Matter of fact, right before this, I was getting my tickets. It's just a lot going on in the real estate market. The economy, we don't know. There was a point when I was like, it's all people aren't saying what's really going on. I'm just gonna be dead ass with you, as the young folks say. You can tell something's going on here in Vegas, at least. Down on the strip, I think it's MGM. They just laid off, with the exception of a couple of the casinos, their entire concierge staff. A lot of other staffs are being let go because the casinos know that things are slowed down. The Canadians are the number one foreign visitors to Las Vegas. I don't know how many of these houses that come on the market are owned by Canadians. Canada's done with the US right now. They are done. They're done. And I don't know how long it's going to take until things get square with them. China is done. They're the second largest buyers here in Las Vegas. They're not coming. We used to have a casino dedicated. I mean, it failed and everything for some reason. I don't know why. They actually built a casino dedicated to the Chinese market. It was called the something other dragon. It was on Sahara. I don't know why it failed. I never went into it. Lucky Dragon, that was it. It failed, but after like a year or so. But it was completely catered to the Chinese market. The Chinese market here is big. There's nothing catered to the Canadians. But back when I was in shape enough and it was golfing, back when I was on active duty, every time I went out golfing, I would run across Canadians. There was a lot of Canadians came down here. They're gone. And things on the strip are suffering. As a matter of fact, come on. Oh man. Oh, there it is. Still downloading. What I'm doing right now is I was downtown Vegas doing something. So I did a video on downtown Vegas, and I decided I'm going to drive down the strip and talk about like the high-rise condos and stuff. And I just realized right now, for the time of day, it was not a bad drive. AKA, there was not that much traffic. Yeah, it was it was a good drive, and I just thought about that talking to you guys. Yeah, it's not busy down there. It was easy to get down the strip. Not used to that. I'm used to it being bumper to bumper traffic, and it wasn't. It was an easy drive. Huh. That should tell me something. So things are getting interesting in Vegas. Things are getting interesting everywhere. I'm just going to leave it at that because it just doesn't serve you well to talk like that. Oh, cool. Just had a client sign. They're in another state. Yeah. Wow, I'm surprised with the number of people I've had here tonight. Sometimes, the comments are just going like crazy. I'm answering questions and everything. Tonight, not so. I'm surprised. I mean, come on, anybody got any questions? I mean, the number of people here, I would normally have a lot of questions. Okay, anybody watches this later, man, ask them questions. I really want to get this info out there because I spent a lot of time like trying to learn this stuff for you guys and give you guys good info. I try to be, as non-biased as possible. I ain't gonna lie, I can get biased because I do get passionate about this for multiple reasons. Because you got two sides that are tussling. I like that word, tussling. I think I started using it after the very last episode of Serenity. Not Serenity. Serenity is the movie. What's the show? Hold on. We'll have to do this. It's based on goodness. It's Firefly. The last episode of Firefly. Anyway, I just like using the word tussling. But you got the buyer, you got the seller. They have different theories of what they want to do. The seller wants to sell the house for the most money humanly possible. And their agent is telling them that they can get the most money. And they're usually lying. You got the buyer who wants to save the most money possible and get the most out of the seller, including things like closing costs. And their agent is telling them that they have some special skill to do that. They're usually lying. And we got to work all of this stuff out where everyone ends up not happy somehow. Because every seller, doesn't matter how much they got, thinks that they were cheated. And every buyer, no matter what kind of deal they got, thinks that they were cheated. I have literally seen a situation where a buyer got the house way under where it was worth and go, I paid too much for this house. You're just sitting there looking at them. It's like, I got this house $30,000 under market value. Yeah, I was cheated. I paid too much for the house. House appraised for 50,000 more than you bought it for. Yeah, I was just cheated. I've seen the same thing on the other side. There was a point in California, believe it or not, right before the market like did this. Did you know that sellers were suing their agents in California, saying that they were cheated? It would be funny if it wasn't true. Here's the situation. Um, you know how people were paying more than the houses were worth because of COVID, especially with these 2.5% interest rates. Uh, so here's like we'll make up a situation that the person who told me this was giving me. So let's say the person was selling their house for 800,000. We'll make that a nice California price at the time, and somebody offered 900,000. Now remember, they're selling for 8. They offered 900,000, and they're willing to pay 50,000 over appraised value. Let's say the house ended up appraising for the 800,000. So the person's paying 850 for the house. You would think the seller would be happy. Sellers started coming back going, but they offered 900. You didn't protect me for that other 50,000. I only got 50,000 over what the house was worth. And they started suing agents in California. Make this make sense to me. Please make this make sense. This actually started happening right before the market turned. It's like all these lawsuits. We're not supposed to talk about the lawsuits because, I mean, besides them being stupid. And it's like, you know how as a buyer, you now have to sign all of these BBRAs now, buyer broker representation agreements. You know why you have to do that? Because during the big lawsuit with the big settlement of billions of dollars with a B, that like even the National Association of Realtors didn't even have the money for, they actually have to pay it over years and they had to borrow money. There really wasn't any money there. Yet there's still all these lawsuits out there because of all the things the lawyers are throwing at the wall. One of them was, why did the seller have to pay the agents for the buyer when they didn't even have a contract? They were showing houses without contracts, so they shouldn't have even had to been paid. So then they said, okay, you have to have a contract to show a house. That's where that came from. And somehow this was better. Now you're locked into an agent. Although you really don't have to be locked into an agent. That's the point is you're locked in. And some of these, and the worst part is trying to do this without getting myself in trouble. In the day, let's say somebody offered, because we're not supposed to talk commission. Got to find something I could use to represent without saying things. Ooh, look here, batteries. I got batteries. Ooh, that makes it really cool. So we got like AAA batteries and AA batteries. So we're going to be paid in batteries. I'm being real stupid here because this is how stupid this stuff is, because we're not supposed to talk in certain things. But this is legal somehow. So let's say that in the good old days, a seller would offer 3 batteries. Or let's say a seller would offer 2 batteries. Because I don't know, maybe it's a high price house. Maybe it's $1 million house. Like, I only want to pay 2 batteries. Well, now, because of the way these contracts are written, the buyer's agent may ask for 3 batteries. When before, when the seller offered 2 batteries, the agent was just happy to have it. It's $1 million house. You're getting 2 batteries. Now you're negotiating, but you see in the contract, some of these agents are going like, they're only giving me 2 batteries now. And they'll go to their buyer and want, I need this other battery from you. How is that good for the consumer? When just 2 years ago, they would have gladly taken these 2 batteries. How is this good when they would have taken these 2 batteries 2 years ago, and now they're coming to the buyer and going, can you please give me my other battery? And yet the lawyers are saying this is somehow good for you. The people who actually wanted their payout to be hundreds of millions of dollars so they could get a G5 or a G650 now. Back in the day, remember the G5 was the thing. But makes me wonder. I had a full ride scholarship to law school back in the day. Maybe I should have taken it. Then I could be a sycophant riding in a G5. Notice my live stream. That's when I have my V8. That's hot honey. That's a limited edition V8. Hot honey. And still, no one has asked any questions. Well, I've gone through everything. We've talked about the market. I've opined on my opinion on what's going on in the real estate market, including all this stuff, and talked to you a little personally about all the debt that surrounds me. So hopefully I stay on this side of the grass for a bit. And if you have any questions, please reach out, call, text, email, all that YouTube stuff. I'm going to go ahead and end it right here. If you're watching the replay and made it this far, you know what to do. Please subscribe. I would love for this channel to grow. See you guys later. And as I always say to my military brothers and sisters, Alpha Mike Foxtrot, all the rest of y'all, there's plenty of y'all watching who are never served. I still appreciate you and love you. Gonna keep them lights on for you. See how I even ended it like it was a regular YouTube video. See y'all later.